read as well, and what I watched and listened to about what you went through after doing some of those lifts, you know, like forgetting stuff for a few weeks, like, you know, your wife's name and that's so intense. I don't think anyone has an insight into really understanding like what you've got to go through, because it's like a superhuman strength, right? Yeah. Half a ton off the floor like that, you know. I mean, you are incredibly big, but you're still flesh and bone, like a human, right?
Yeah.
Not an expendable. But to do that and to hear like what you go through and to see you passing out, doing 1,000, like for that to go from your muscles to your brain to that level is it was really hard to understand how, you know, to endure what that's like to endure.
Yeah, I think like people can't comprehend how big of a feat of strength that was, the 500 kilo. I'd encourage any one of you guys or anyone listening to go to the gym and put 500 kilos on a bar in a rack and just lift it half an inch. Because I can guarantee you won't fucking do it.
No way.
And to pick it up from the floor is a different
maybe 200 for a normal strong guy,
exactly.
Maybe a tiny bit move. It feel the bar will bend a little bit.
Yeah. You know, an average Joe guy would probably struggle to lift 200 kilos, 1 inch.
I remember watching like the 450s and 485s you were doing and just like holding it up then. And that was like a big thing then. Like all the guys around screaming like 450, 485. This was crazy.
And
like,
you see some weird reactions. I saw some of the guys in the running up to before you were doing it, and they do 476. And the way that they would fall on the floor, it's kind of, you don't know what's happening. Then one knee goes, another knee, and then they're completely like something's gone, something's burst. I mean, to watch you do that is such a feat. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It was a milestone. It was like a Roger Bannister moment in strongman, because everyone back in the day said the 4-minute mile was never possible. People laughed at Roger Bannister saying you can run a mile in less than 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And you watch the video of Roger Bannister do it, and he collapses. Yeah. Like, he pushed the boundaries to the absolute brink. And then I think within, I'm going to say 2 years, I think 16 other people did it.
Yeah.
The impossible. Yeah. 16 people did it. Yeah. And then it was just like opening up the doors, the barriers to what's achievable. Yeah, paving the way.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, because you got to envision, it wasn't just the weight that I was up against, it was all the negativity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When I announced I was going to pull 500 kilo, the strongman promoters laughed at me. The people running World's Strongest Man laughed at me.
Right.
The other strongmen laughed at me. 99.9% of the fan base laughed at me. And they all said it's impossible. It's not going to be fucking done. You're a dickhead. You are deluded. I can show you all the comments. Yeah, got a list of.
When we had Martin on, he was very honest, Martin C, and he said, "Look, Eddie used to go around saying I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it," and everyone was just like, I don't know if you are, mate. And it, you know, in a very very different field, I can relate to that because I spent so long trying to bash the door down, read this, read that, please, and everyone's like, you know, go away. Yeah. You're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be able to achieve it. You know, disappear, kind of thing.
But going up against that negativity
just fuels you.
It was insane. It did fuel me, but it was infuriating, and it was. Yeah. A lot of people would have folded at that, you know, because that creates a lot of pressure where you're sort of saying something out loud, and then if you don't achieve it, you are the dickhead. You are the deluded idiot. So it put a lot of pressure on me, and that's what I'm most proud of, is I did it under like the most almost extreme circumstances in that respect, where it was deemed the impossible. The world record deadlift went up 1 or 2 kilos a year for 20 years in a row.
Wow.
So, you know, people are breaking like 418, 419, 420. It just kept creeping up.
Then you made that jump.
And everyone, like, people said 1,000 pounds. 455 kilo was impossible, and then Andy Bolton came and did it.
Yeah.
And then when I announced it, the world record at the time was 463 kilos. So I announced I was going to do a 37 kilo jump on the deadlift.
Yeah.
And when you say that out loud, it's like Usain Bolt saying he's going to knock
a second
0.6 seconds off the 100-meter sprint.
Right.
Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, no chance.
Yeah.
And that's why I got so much negativity.
You must have actually completed the 500 kg like deadlift before you actually did it on stage. No. Or you didn't?
No.
Okay.
No.
So it was just training up until that point.
So this was.
There's so much belief in it.
Yeah, there's just so much belief. The most I ever did in the gym was 450 kilos, and I just got in my head that if I can do a speed rep with 10% less than my max, which would have been 500, then I know I can do it. So I think it was like 2-3 weeks out, I put 450 on the bar, and I stood up with the weight quicker than I can stand up out of this chair.
Right,
and that's when I knew it was going to happen.
Okay, nice.
So, and there was also I did a lot of work with psychologists and hypnotherapists, and it was a scientist that actually sat me down once and was just like, Ed, you're not going to be able to lift this. I was like, fuck off, another naysayer. I can't be arsed with this shit. He's like, no, let me explain. So he sort of broke it down for me how like the fight or flight scenario can kick in with the human race, and you can do these phenomenal feats of strength, and people have done these amazing things when they're under this fight or flight scenario.
Mums lifting cars up.
Mums lifting cars off of the kids in car accidents.
Yeah.
It's happened. People have witnessed it. And he basically said, he laid it down for me that a day-to-day human that takes the kids to school, does the shopping, goes to work, they probably have access to about 50, maybe 60% of their muscle fibers at most. Right. Someone who trains on a daily basis, who's like really in touch with the body and, real like an athlete, you're probably talking 60 to 75% of the muscle fibers they can access. He said that it's that 25% that people can't get a hold of, and the only way to access it is a massive dump of adrenaline.
Right.
There's no other way. So that's when I turned to a hypnotherapist, and we had to go through this scenario of lifting a car off of my kids. Was probably the best way to describe it. It was a lot worse than that. But we put the scenario in my head and we put a trigger point. So just before I went out to do the lift, I put a trigger point in it, put me in this frame of mind. And the bar wasn't a bar with 500 kilos on. It was, in essence, a car, and the floor had my kids on it. So that was the kind of shit I had to sort of mentally prep for over and over for months to get it right.